My mom spent $90,000 on my sister's wedding. For mine, she offered $5,000 and said, "You are just not as important as your sister." I wish I could say I was shocked, but the truth is, I had spent my entire life hearing different versions of the same message. My name is Emily. And growing up, I always felt like an outsider in my own family. My older sister Madison was the star of every room. She got the bigger bedroom, the better gifts, the expensive vacations, and all of my parents' attention. Whenever I questioned it, my mother always had an excuse. Madison is older. Madison needs it more. Madison deserves it more. After a while, I stopped asking questions and started pretending it did not hurt. Everything changed when I met Ethan. He was kind, patient, funny, and completely different from anyone I had ever known. Being with him felt easy. For the first time in my life, I felt valued. We dated for 2 years before he proposed during a quiet weekend by the ocean. There were no photographers, no crowd, and no social media performance. Just the two of us watching the sunset. I said yes before he even finished speaking. And for a few weeks, life felt perfect. Then my parents invited us over for dinner, and everything fell apart. Halfway through dessert, my mother smiled and announced that she wanted to discuss my wedding budget. I expected a normal conversation. Instead, she calmly explained that she and my father would contribute $5,000 toward my wedding. At first, I thought she was joking. My sister's wedding had cost nearly $90,000, and everyone in the family knew it. When I reminded her of that fact, she simply shrugged and said, "Madison's wedding represented the family. Yours does not." Then she looked directly at me and said the words I will never forget. "You are just not as important as your sister." The room became completely silent. Even Madison looked uncomfortable. Ethan squeezed my hand under the table, but I could barely breathe. I stood up, grabbed my purse, and walked out without saying another word. That night, I cried harder than I had in years. Not because of the money, but because hearing those words confirmed everything I had suspected my entire life. The next morning, my mother sent me a text message saying, "I hope you are not still upset. You always overreact." That was the moment I stopped making excuses for her. Wedding planning became impossible. Every venue, every dress, and every invitation reminded me of that conversation. Then one evening, Ethan closed my laptop, looked at me and said, "Let's cancel it. Not the marriage, just the wedding." He suggested that we run away together and get married somewhere beautiful, with no family drama and no expectations. At first I laughed, but the more we talked, the more perfect the idea sounded. 3 months later, we boarded a plane to Italy without telling anyone. The moment we arrived, I felt free. We spent our days exploring small towns, eating incredible food, and laughing together. Then, one afternoon, overlooking the ocean, we exchanged vows. It was simple, beautiful, and perfect. The next morning, I posted a single photograph online. The caption contained only 4 words: "We got married today." Within minutes, my phone exploded with calls, texts, and messages. My mother called repeatedly, but I ignored every attempt to reach me. Then I noticed a comment under the photo from my Uncle Robert. "Congratulations, Emily. Your grandmother would be proud. She always wanted you to know the truth." My heart started racing. Before I could respond, another comment appeared. Maybe now someone should finally tell her why she was always treated differently. I immediately called him, and what he told me changed my life forever. He revealed that the woman I called Mom was not my biological mother. My real mother had died shortly after I was born, and my father remarried 2 years later. Suddenly, every painful memory made sense. Every comparison, every disappointment, and every moment I felt unwanted. For 28 years, I believed something was wrong with me, but the truth was much simpler. I had spent my entire life asking the wrong people to tell me my value.